Perfect example of what a garden did not look like in the days of Jesus. I think they're doing a great job here. They're trying to do it both beautiful and give us a lot of shade. And if you have too much shade, it's not easy to do the beauty. So it's a balance, but I think they're doing well. So if this is not an example of what it looked like, what would be? Well, the gardens in the days of Jesus was to be useful. So they grew different things, and now I will take the bad stuff first. We thought earlier that this was a proof for a garden. It's not easy for you to say this, but down here some of you can see it looks like a chimney top. It's a top of a very big cistern for collecting rainwater during the winter. And I don't know the measure in gallon. I know it's 1,000 cubic meters, so it's really big. And it would be nice to have a lot of water if you have a big garden with it. That's the way I think. But what they grew in the gardens in the days of Jesus did not need water that much, because they only grew things that were designed from the good Creator to stand a long, hot, dry summer. So it was not that much needed. It was human beings and animals that needed water. But secondly, a month ago, a little more, the archaeological authorities here in Israel, they come and do their researches here. They gave us the final statement. This one is from Crusaders' time. Did not even exist in the days of Jesus. Maybe it's an extension of an earlier cistern, but that we don't know, so I just put it away. I like this one better. Further down, on the other side of the people here, downhill, you have this. And that is a very big wine press. And this is dated from the days of Jesus. So this existed in the days of Jesus. So what we know is that they grew grapes in this area. And that would make it a garden in the sense that we know from the New Testament. So I like that that the proof of a garden is a wine press. Not that I'm that fond of wine, but because of the difference between getting the oil out of olives and the juice out of grapes. Have you been up to Galilee?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have seen a wine press at Capernaum and Nazareth, yes, and Tabcha, they have a wine press. And you know, if you squeeze them gently, you will get virgin oil. But at the end, you have this big stone rolling all over the olives and crushes the stones within it, and you will get oil. But not so with grapes. Grapes you have to treat very gently, because if the seed within a grape is destroyed, then the wine is destroyed. And that is why you step on the grapes with your bare feet. And I like the picture because of John 15. Some people think that coming to Jesus, being involved in the church, it means to do a lot of things. You have to work, you have to be in the choir and be in the youth club, and you have to do a lot of things to be in the church. And sometimes you can feel that they are pressing the last little energy you have out from you. But that is not the way Jesus is. He treats us so gently that the best comes out from our lives without destroying us. So I love that this is the proof for a garden here. I think I prefer to say something about the tomb as you're sitting here. And you can relax for a while. If you need to close your eyes, I will only think that you concentrate more. This is not the only tomb in the area. There are about 40 tombs, more or less similar with this one, but this one is special. What they all have in common is that there are two chambers in the tomb. Where you enter, that is what is called the weeping chamber. And the weeping chamber is where they brought the body, and they had the linen and the spices and the herbs and the oil, and they wrapped it up, and after a little ceremony they put it from the weeping chamber into the burial chamber. And the burial chamber here is on your right hand side. The very most common is that the burial chamber is further into the mountain in File. And there is one or two examples where it's located to the left. This is the only one we know about where it's located to the right. And that means something when you read Mark 16. You read about the two women coming here, both of the name of Mary, and they worry about the stone, but the stone is gone. So they enter into the tomb, and then they see a man, a young man in white cloths, sitting to the right. Mark specifically says, and this is the only tomb where you can sit to the right. And what does he say? Don't be afraid. You look for Jesus, and here comes my wife. Preparing for your communion, yeah. You will have your communion right here. Her name is Gun, spelled J-U-N. My name is Bertil, could be pronounced like battle. So we had American friends who asked us what kind of marriage we had. You are Battle and she's Gun. So.
Gun wins the battle.
You can't win them all. What does the man say? He says, you're looking for Jesus is not here, he is risen. Here is where his body was laid. And it makes sense that he sits in the burial chamber saying, here is where the body was laid. Talking to the women in the weeping chamber. And after a while, there comes Peter and John. John is the first one, but he is a little worried, so he stays outside. After a while, Peter comes and he runs just into the tomb. But John leans into the tomb, and he saw the place where Jesus' body had been, and he saw the linen, and he saw the cloth for the head. And the only spot you can see from leaning into the tomb would be here, up to the right. So if I can claim that this must be the tomb of Jesus, I can say that if this is not the tomb of Jesus, it must have been a similar tomb. And if this is the tomb of Jesus, that is where the body was. Outside the tomb, you can see a channel supporting the stone that was rolled to cover the entrance. And this channel, normally, it was cut so it leaned so that it had its lowest point where the opening was. That is convenient. Then the stone will stay in place. But here in this tomb, it leans down to the left, away from the tomb. So that when the stone was in place, it had to be adjusted with a smaller stone. And when an angel or an earthquake made it move away, it stayed away. And it's have been away since then, we never saw it. It might have have become building material or something, we don't know. But we have not made our last discovery yet. In the tomb, just over inside the burial chamber, you see this figure. It used to look like this. But once again, the authority of the archaeological authorities of Israel, they came here and they decided it should be painted red. It's not our decision. They did it. And it looks a little bit like graffiti inside the tomb, but it says something. Jesus Christ, Alpha, Omega. And it's a cross. And that is from Byzantine time. So early Christians marked this place with Jesus symbols. The cross and the saying, Jesus Christ, Alpha, Omega. So it says something. When you come down to the tomb area, so please be very careful, because it's uneven, a rough area, easy to slip and fall. And even if the land is holy, the rocks are hard. I know. So take it easy down there. And you're about to see maybe the only site in the world where tourists come to see what is not there. He's not there, he's risen. But on the other hand, when you enter the tomb, he will be there as he lives in your heart. Right. He does not abandon us because we enter his tomb. So he's there. His right place was not on the cross. He was on the cross, but he was because he took my place. His right place is not in the tomb. He was in the tomb, but he is the life. He not only gives life, he is the life. So he should not be in the tomb, and he's not. Now he is where he should be, on the throne. So I want him, as he's on the throne in heaven, I want him to be on the throne in my heart. And this is a perfect place and a perfect day to just invite him to take the place. So now you can do as you please. Would you like to have your communion first and then go to the tomb?
I think so.